Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to GH Gospel Radio. And as usual, this is Let's Talk Marriage. And tonight's topic is pretty much cliche, right? A lot of people say it back and forth. And it's just a simple fact that a lot of people say that women are our own enemies. Or if I were a guy, I'll be like, women are their own enemies, right? But it's more like women are our own enemies. I don't know if you are familiar with this or if you've heard it and what you think. So if you're on right now, just type what you think. Is it true that women are our own enemies? Is it true that the things that happen to women, we are the ones who do it to ourselves? And tonight we're just going to attempt to answer this question, right? We are trying to bring out our opinions. Hello, Mr. Baini. So nice to see you. You are welcome. Yes. So tonight we're going to find out, is it true that women are our own enemies? And the only way we can do that is by examining some of the things that women do to each other that may make it look like women are our own enemies, right? Okay. So the first thing we'll talk about is women love to talk. Is a fact, right? On the average, women talk more than men talk. Women also are very good at paying attention to detail. It's not like women wake up in the morning and decide today we are going to pay attention to detail. But just by our makeup, just by our mindset, just by the way that God created us, we notice a whole lot more than our male counterparts will notice, right? And when we notice, we don't keep quiet, we talk about it. The things that men would see and not say, in fact, they wouldn't even see in the first place. Many men, the average man, doesn't notice a lot of little things. But for the average woman, we notice everything, whether we like it or not. As long as we step into the environment, we notice all that is going on. And we know that God specifically made our brains for that. Um, God specifically made our brains like that because when you're taking care of very young children, you have to be observant. If little things escape you, you're not going to be able to do a very good job. And for some funny reason, when you have a baby, it's like you are programmed to connect with the baby, to be able to notice things that anybody else would not notice, right? The problem comes in when, after we have noticed, we begin to talk about it. And some people make it their business to talk about it in a way that's not nice. People can, many women, I mean, can say all kinds of things. And there are a lot of things that even when you mention it, just by mentioning it, it's not necessary. It's not everything that you notice that you have to talk about. And yet, many of us women, everything that we notice, we want to talk about it. We want to compare with other people. We want to bring it up for discussion. And I don't know if you like being talked about, but nobody is comfortable being talked about, especially if it's behind their backs. So if you notice things and you are not comfortable going up to another woman to talk to her about it, and then you start talking behind her back, by the time word gets to her about what you're saying, whatever you said might have changed, or even if it doesn't change, it's not nice, it's not comfortable, it's not encouraging hearing somebody else talk about you behind your back. So some of these things that women do. Hello, Auntie Vivian. Welcome. It's nice to see you. Yes. So talking behind people's back. The men don't do it a lot. It's the women who do it. Why don't the men do it? Because the average man does not even notice. Do not notice what you're wearing. Do not notice if you want the same thing 5 times in a row. All they'll notice is, oh, you came in, you're looking good. Sometimes they may not even know everybody in the room. A man walks in the room, sees people, says hello. They may not even remember everybody who was there. All they remember is, we went, it was fun, you were looking good. Women will enter, they'll know how many were there, who came last time but didn't come this time, what everybody is wearing from the head to the toe. And then if they've been wearing the same thing for a long time, and then when we are done noticing is not a problem. It's not our fault. Our brains are designed to notice because it's for a good purpose. But then after we've noticed, instead of using it for the good purpose that we usually should use it for, we just go back and talk about it behind people's back. And a lot of times, unkind words are said. And after these unkind words are said, we, the same women, will go and talk about it with other people. By the time we are aware, whoever is being talked about hears it. And of course, they're not going to be happy. Of course, it's not going to be flattering. People say, oh, you've been wearing the same shoe for the last 5 years, or you don't know how to wear high heels, or when your high heel had a broken heel or a crooked, all kinds of unnecessary details that doesn't add anything to the woman's life. In this instance, we will say that women, after noticing details, talk about it in an unflattering manner. It's not because women are our own enemies, but we need to take responsibility. The fact that our brains are wired to be able to take note, to be able to observe, to be observant, to be able to pay attention to detail, does not mean we should go a step further and talk about everything, every little thing that somebody else does, especially behind their backs. If I hear somebody saying, oh, I've been wearing the same shoe for the last 5 years, it may be true. Maybe I've been wearing the same shoe for the last 5 years. But what importance is that information? And if you did not say it to my face, if you did not call me and be like, oh, hello, why do you keep wearing this shoe? Is it your favorite shoe? If you said it to me, it would sound like it's normal banter, friendly conversation, right? But if I hear you talking to somebody else about me wearing the same shoe for 5 years, it becomes something that is not nice. It becomes something weird. So if you notice something about another woman, if it concerns you, you see, the people who love you, they'll always come to you. They'll come to your face and talk to you. The people who just want more information, who just want to tarnish your name, who just wants to make you upset, or who just want to be unkind, they are the ones who go and ask somebody else. And for all you care, the person you're asking may not even know. This person you're asking them about is not their child. They probably don't live in the same home. They probably didn't wake up from the same place. They don't know anything about what you're asking them. So by just whispering behind somebody's back, you're just trying to make the person uncomfortable. When the person finds out, they're not going to be happy. And it's going to look like women are our own enemies. We need to take responsibility. We need to stop talking behind each other's backs. If you care about the person, go up to her, ask her, even if it's something unflattering. The fact that you're asking her and not talking to somebody else. You see, whenever you talk to somebody else, it's like you are rallying people against the said person. If you've seen something that is not flattering and you're talking to 4, 5, 6 other people, by the time you're aware, you're drawing 7 people's attention to one person. But if you go right up to her and you talk to her, whatever you say, whatever she says back, you end the conversation over there. It's between the two of you. You observed, you talked about it, but with the right person. It's better to stab people in the front, eye to eye, so that they know exactly who is stabbing them, than to go behind them and be saying stuff. And then when they find out, they are unhappy. And probably they can also not come back and ask you. Or even if they come and ask you, by the time they are asking you, they are upset because they heard whispering somewhere. So they are also on the defensive, trying to find out who said what and why they said what they said. Some of these little things, whispering behind people's back, make it always seem like women are our own enemies. We need to take responsibility for that. We are blessed with brains that are highly attentive to detail. It's for a purpose, and it's especially great in taking care of children. But let's not misuse it by noticing unflattering stuff about people and then talking behind their backs. Some people go as far as to add their own spice to it. So the things that were not even there, they'll just add it so that the story will be nice. And then they'll create all kinds of scenario. Making another person sad is nothing to be proud about. If you have something to say, talk about yourself, talk about your business, talk about your own matters, talk about the things that you want to do. Don't talk about petty things about people, shoes, clothes, and especially whether somebody has gained weight or lost weight. Why is it your business? If you want to say something, go straight to the person and say it. You see, the proof that you have no evil intention is being able to look the person in the face and say it. If whatever you are saying, if you cannot say it in front of the person you are talking about, don't say it. It means you don't have the confidence, or you know that when the person hears it, they're going to be upset. If you're not seeing somebody, some people come and ask you, I've not seen this person for a long time. Meanwhile, when they see the person, they will not ask the person anything. So, what is your motive? Is it that you care about the person, or you just want to know if there's some juicy detail going on somewhere so that you will also be in the know? Women, let's stop doing these things. Let's be more productive with the gift that we have. If you care about somebody, if you notice something, go to the person and talk to the person. And if you care about somebody, let it be direct. Why would you want to make friends with somebody through another person? Why can't you have open conversation? Why can't you talk to the person straight away? The Bible says that open hatred is better than hidden love. So if somebody is hating you in front of you, it's even better than the person loving you and not letting you know. What's the lesson here? It's important that we deal with each other directly. When we notice things, let's talk about it openly and nicely. Let's not talk behind each other's back. We create all kinds of unnecessary drama, and then it seems like, oh, the women are fighting, oh, the women are pulling each other down, the women are against each other. Let's not make it seem like that. You see, men are blessed. They won't even notice in the first place. So they don't even have the responsibility of choosing whether to talk about it or not. If you go and ask them, they don't know. So they are even they are exempted from making their mistakes. That's not to say men are perfect. That's not to say that men don't do each other. Men are not mean to each other. But the thing is, for women, it's like we draw attention to it by a lot of talk. And we draw attention to it by adding a lot of unnecessary detail. Unnecessary. If somebody won a shoe for 5 years, so what? Isn't it still a shoe? Doesn't it still protect the person's feet? You see, because a lot of the things that we complain about, a lot of things that we talk about behind other people's back, because they are unnecessary, that's what make it look like we are willing to stoop so low to make each other unhappy. People just, some women will just hate other women because they don't want to be their friends. In this world, people have different likes, people have different preferences. If you like somebody, spend time with them. If you don't like them, leave them alone. Why would it be your business to go and make sure that this person who is quiet, by force, this person should talk? Or this person who likes talking, by force, this person should. It's as if women like to control the environment. It's as if we like to make sure everybody in our circles are towing a particular line. But you see, nobody likes that. Nobody likes to be told what to do. I think that the nicest thing about being an adult is being able to decide for yourself. Is by being able to make your own decisions and decide how you want your life to be. So why would you want to take that away from another person. Women, we need to do better. Let's stop controlling our friends. Let's stop controlling the people around us. Find your tribe, wherever you are happy the most, whoever you like to spend time with. Spend time with that person. Those people that you don't get along with, it doesn't mean they are evil. It just means they're different. Leave them alone. Stop talking about them all the time, and especially behind their backs. Please, if you want to talk about somebody, be bold. Step up to the person, say it in their face. Don't act like you're scared, or don't act like you want the person to think you guys are friends. But then, whenever you turn your back, you're doing something shady. I don't know if you yourself you're happy doing that. But if you're happy doing that, that's your own piece of cake. Keep on doing it. But the bottom line is, because women have the capacity to pay attention to detail, it's a God given gift. It's like we're always talking about petty things about other women, making each other upset. So it makes it look like we are our own enemies. Men don't have that issue. They don't even notice in the first place for them to even go further and talk about it. So on this front, we are looking like we are our own enemies, and we need to take responsibility. Stop talking about another woman's business. Stop discussing another woman with somebody else. If you have something to say it to her face. The gift that God gave you was for better things, like taking care of your children, taking care of babies. Even when they grow older, you lose some of that ability, or it stays with you, whatever. But you have that ability for that purpose of taking care of babies. Because hands down, we all know that instinctively, women have a higher capacity to take care of babies than men. It's God given. So let us not use that skill to upset other women so that it looks like we are our own enemies. No, we are just misusing our gifts. Let's use our gifts for better. It's natural to notice everything around you. It's natural to notice the people around you, but we need to take responsibility for our actions. We shouldn't use that gift to upset other people. When you see things that are petty, just keep quiet. If you want to talk, go up to the particular person, talk to them. That will make them know that you care about them, so that whatever you are bringing up will not sound petty or will not look like you are rallying people to hate on your fellow woman. Women, we are good to each other because we are able to sense what each other needs, and we are able to be there for each other in a very good way. Let's not turn it around and act like we want to be petty and we want to attack each other. So I pray that with time, this notion will just die out, and people will realize that women are not our own enemies, because we'll do better. We'll use our gifts to do better. Okay. So another area we want to look at is the fact that it is women who train, most of the time, it's women who train children in house chores, right? Especially from where I'm coming from. Most of the time, it's women who teach their children how to cook. It's women who teach their children how to clean. It's women who teach their children how to take care of their personal hygiene and stuff like that. But you see, we're realizing that a lot of times when men grow up not having essential skills, not knowing how to cook, not knowing how to clean, women see it as normal. Indirectly, I'm trying to say that their mothers didn't think it was necessary to teach their boys these skills. And probably their fathers might not have been in a position to do that. To be honest, it's both parents' responsibility to train their children such that they will be independent, capable adults, right? But when it comes to the house chores, we know that a lot of times it's the women who will teach their female children how to do house chores and do it properly. But when it comes to their male children, they sort of leave it alone. They sort of act like, oh, boys don't need to know how to cook. In some cultures, it's even a taboo. Why would you? Boys are not supposed to be in the kitchen. Boys are not supposed to be taught how to cook. Boys are not supposed to be taught how to clean. Boys are not supposed to be taught how to take care of babies. To be honest, we need to realize that your children will not get married straight away. Some boys may move out of their parents' home for college, and then they'll be living by themselves. Whilst they are away at college, how do you expect them to do their laundry? How do you expect them to cook for themselves? Because sometimes buying food in college is expensive. If you know how to cook, it will help you save some money so that your money will go further. How do you expect them to take care of their residences, like clean their bathrooms, clean their rooms, organize their clothes, if you are not teaching them how to do it as children? I know that with the society that I come from, it's not a problem for the girls at all. Their parents or their mothers will make sure that they are teaching the girls how to do all these things. But when it comes to the boys, they sort of leave it alone. To be honest, it's harder to teach boys how to do chores than it is to teach girls. But it is because a lot of times they see only their mothers doing chores. So unconsciously they are thinking, oh, chores are for women, right? And sometimes too, like I'm saying, the women refuse to teach the boys, they just teach the girls. And sometimes there've even been some parents that make their female children clean up after their male children, clean the bathrooms of the male children, cook for the male children, and stuff like that. Well, it's up to you to decide what works best for you, right? But practically speaking, it's not fair to your male children that you don't equip them with these skills, because they are not always going to have you around, and they are not always going to have a woman in their lives. A lot of times people tell men who don't have wives, oh, go find somebody to come and do it for you. By the time you are aware, they've had a child or they've gotten themselves into a relationship that they did not plan for. And who would you blame? Your mother. Because you're not supposed to blame your mother. Your father could have also taught you. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's the mothers who prevent their sons from learning these skills. And then your son will go and marry somebody's daughter. That person may be sick, and your son may have to take care of their own child, and they cannot even do these things. Who are we blaming? In a way, the woman who raised this son sort of dropped the ball. So sometimes some of us women, we ourselves decide that male children don't need, or boys don't need to be taught how to do chores. This is somebody you are raising for another person's daughter. And this person will grow up, and then somebody's daughter will be suffering because you, the woman, didn't teach your son how to help around in the home. We are not saying your son should go and marry and be doing all the chores. No. But your son should be capable enough that when he's home by himself, he can get something to eat. Or when the children are with him, they will not go hungry. He'll be able to take care of them. So, in a way, in this regard, we look like we are our own enemies because we are not helping our sons to learn the skills that they need to help them if they are staying by themselves, and also when they are married to help their own children. So this is one area that we need to also consider. And you see, the sad thing is that in many homes where I come from, the mothers-in-law will insist, my son should not be doing this. You are a bad woman for requiring my son to do this. There was this funny story. about this husband who wanted to help the wife because the wife's job was very demanding. So in the area they lived in, there was no potable water. So there was no pipe-borne water. So they had to go fetch water. Those of you who are coming from where I come from, you know about these things. Sometimes you have to take a bucket, go find water, bring to your home. And whenever this husband got to the area to get water, the women there will gang up on him. Where is your wife? Where is that lazy wife of yours? How is it that you should be coming to fetch water? Your wife is probably sleeping. See, this is a clear instance of women being their own enemies. Seemingly, right? You don't know what's going on in his home. He has decided it's best for him to fetch water. If he fetches the water, it's not going to turn blue, it's not going to turn green. So why should it be your business that another woman is in her home and the husband is rather fetching water? Meanwhile, you don't know their dynamics. Women, why would we go and put our mouth in this matter? Why is it so important that women at the tap or borehole or public place of fetching water will decide that it's not right for a husband to fetch water? These are some of the things. Sometimes our own mindset doesn't help our fellow women in their home. The things that we criticize about other women in their own home without even knowing their dynamics is what is hurting us. If a husband wants to help in their home, the other women will go and gossip. Why are you letting your husband wash dishes? I'm sure that said husband was not held at gunpoint to go and wash dishes. Maybe their dynamics in their home, he himself decided to help. Whatever it is, why is it your business to go and say, it's only a bad woman who let their husband do chores. It's only a bad woman who let their husband take care of the kids, blah, 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 blah. It's only a bad woman who make the husband late for church. All kinds of funny stories. And it's not the men saying it. It's the women saying it to other women. If a couple is late for church right now, the women will start saying, hey, it's a woman who made them late. She was doing makeup, so she couldn't hurry up. They won't even bother to ask why they are late. And in any case, if two adults are late to church, why is it your business to find out why they are late? If you want to talk to them about the fact that they are late and maybe it's not helping, go ahead and talk to them as a couple. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. So and so, you've been coming to church late. Maybe we would like to see you earlier. Is there anything we can do to help? It's none of your business when a couple gets to church. They are adults. They need to figure it out for themselves. If they come and ask you to help them, then you have whatever permission to be able to sit down with them, find out what's going on, and help if you can. But if they have not asked you for help, what is your business delving into why a couple, two adults, are late to church? Women, we need to be careful. It's not everything that we have to talk about. It's not everything that we have to make it our business. And one last thing that I would like to talk about too is that mothers-in-law, especially, I was going to say I'm not a mother-in-law. I'm very young. Mothers-in-law are being given the bad name. You see, you never hear about fathers-in-law harassing the wife of their son. It's always the mother-in-law that we hear about. It's important that women allow their adult children to be, because in this instance, it clearly looks like is another woman being an enemy to their own kind. If a mother-in-law is harassing the wife of her son, it looks like women are being our own enemies. Because who is harassing the woman? It's you. It's important that mothers-in-law, well, I have not been there, so now I'm just talking on assumptions, but at least I've had a mother-in-law, a very good mother-in-law of blessed memory, who never gave me issues. She never gave me issues at all. But we are just saying that it's out there that mothers-in-law often cause problems in their sons' marriages. So I'm just saying that just like my mother-in-law did not give me any issues at all, let us also learn. Me too. I have made up my mind that when I get older, when God blesses me and my sons get married, I would not be a mouthpiece in their home. I will allow them to decide for themselves. I will not be dictating to them what to do in their home. It's going to be difficult raising your son and then letting another woman take over your son's life and be telling them what to do. But guess what? You're the mother. Your reign is over. It's now time for you to take care of yourself and enjoy your grandchildren. Let your son and his wife figure things out for themselves. Of course, you've been there before, so you probably know better. But at the time that you were living your life, remember that you didn't know everything. So it's important that you allow your children space to also grow, especially when they are adults. With children, you have to correct them when you see them going wrong. But with adults, a lot of times you have to watch them and allow them to come to you for advice. You can no longer impose things on them. Adulthood earns them the right to be independent. And if you have done your job well of bringing up your children well, you wouldn't need to be hovering around them. You wouldn't need to be watching what they do. There's a time for training children. There's a time for them to grow and be adults. So, mothers in law, we are begging you. And for those of us aspiring mothers in law, we should also start learning from now that when your children become adults, let them go. Don't be a harassment to the other woman in your son's life. Don't act like your son's wife is a bad woman. Let them figure things out for themselves. Of course, you expect your son to take care of you, but you should know that your son has to take care of his home first before it comes to you. So, even for those of us who are aspiring mothers in law, it's good that we start learning now to plan for our future so that we don't have to depend on our children so much. And it would seem like, oh, this is my son, so I should be able to tell him anything. The minute he gets married, he's no longer your son alone. He's your son, true. He will forever be your son, but now he's another woman's wife. He's another woman's husband, sorry. He's another woman's husband. So you got to pull back. Your reign is sort of reduced. You're still an important factor in his life, but you're not going to be a daily presence and you're not going to be a main influence. You're just somebody who should take a back seat now and allow your son to live his life and also learn from his own mistakes and allow your daughter-in-law to breathe. Somebody also gave birth to her. Let her also enjoy having your son around. So women, let's advise ourselves. We have a lot of good qualities that we are using in a way that is not helping each other. Let's not be talking behind each other's backs. It's true that our brains are wired to notice everything, but we shouldn't use that as a means to be talking about everything that we see. We need to make a conscious effort. We need to take responsibility for our actions. If you see something that you can't resist talking about, go to the person, talk to them face to face. Don't go whispering, don't go asking other people. Let's also stop being controlling. Let's stop trying to make people who are not like us uncomfortable. We are all different. Allow people to live their own life. Don't try to control them, control them, control them. It's only God who should control all of us. It's only the Holy Spirit who should control all of us. Let people be especially when they are adults. And last but not least, mothers in law, allow your daughters-in-law to also learn on their own, because you are not perfect from day one. You cannot expect them to be perfect from day one. They would also have to go through the process and learn things for themselves. If you cannot be supportive of them, at least give them the space to be able to live their own lives. Allow your sons to also build another woman up, share life with another woman. And also, as you're raising your kids, help them, equip them. As you're raising your sons in particular, don't let it only be that it's the girls who need to learn how to cook and clean. Your sons may be living alone for some time before they get married. They will be going to college by themselves. Equip them to be capable and independent, so that they're not always depending on other women for those essential skills. And a lot of times it doesn't end well. These women will come back and expect marriage, they'll come back and expect some compensation of a sort, which may not be what your son is looking for. So protect them by teaching them the skills that they need. So I'm just praying that very soon this notion that women are our own enemies will begin to die, because the bottom line is we are all human beings. Men make mistakes, women make mistakes. We have been able to cut each other down, but it looks like for us women, even the littlest things, we use it against each other. And that is something that we should walk away from. When a man is cheating another man, they are cheating them for money. They earn something out of it. But for us women, we are talking about petty, petty stuff like shoes that people have worn for 5 years. Let's take responsibility for our actions and let that phrase die. We are not our own enemies. Just that a lot of times we're being petty and using tiny, tiny things against each other just because we pay attention to detail. So I'm just praying for all of us that we will learn to use our gifts to build each other up, because women, we need each other. We understand each other better, and we are a big resource for each other. So let's not be catty. Let's not be trying to make other women feel uncomfortable for nothing. Let's be more productive. Let's use our gifts to do the things and to build together for ourselves and for each other. So until we meet again, God willing, next week, Sunday, let's all remember that it takes a good Christian to have a good Christian marriage. All right. Goodbye and have a blessed week. Bye bye.